How's it going, guys, and welcome to the channel Uno Gaming. We've got a big 3v3 today that I just wanted to show you guys. I'm playing Slaanesh myself, only for about the third time if I'm honest, and I've got two Zinch players on my team. We're going against two Cafe opponents and an Ogre Kingdoms. I've not played Slaanesh much whatsoever if I'm honest, and I'm just trying to get better at multiplayer. The idea behind this channel being that I would show you guys my improvement, and all the way from going as a complete and utter beginner to trying to get in the top 100, maybe getting some tournaments, a little bit like that. My idea going into this game was that I knew, playing against Cafe, that I was probably going to be up against some artillery. That was the best sort of thing I could think of they're probably going to bring against us. So I brought myself, straight off the bat, GigaN'kari, with all of his upgrades, two cultists on horse, and that's two cultists on horse with all their abilities, and more importantly the summon units of demonettes. Straight off the bat, I summoned a squad of Marauders of Slaanesh, the idea being if I could run those up to the objective, I could use those as sort of a distraction card effects, and get them to take some artillery fire, some ranged fire, and hopefully be able to smuggle sort of GigaN'kari and my two cultists through the bushes. Let's just play at normal speed just to give you guys an idea. My allies ran a very simple Screamer, two Soul Grinders and Kairos, and my ally on the other side running some Forsaken, Pinks and a second Kairos. Now as I ran up, just going past this recruitment point here, I decided it would actually be quite important, I reckon, if I've got some cavalry just to help out a little bit, shock impact on the way. And then as we see the Marauders move up, we notice that they do keep pushing, and I was right in thinking that we've got a Fire Rain Rocket and a Sky Junk, some Jade Warrior Crossbowmen, some Peasant Archers, and two squads of Jade Warriors. So hoping I still haven't been noticed and I can sneak up the side for now. A squad of Seekers, two cultists and GigaN'kari. As we can see, I've already attracted the interest of the Fire Rain Rockets, hoping to do a little bit of juking, possibly waste a little bit of ammunition, but at the moment they are doing their job spot on. Zinch on my right doesn't seem to be having the best time yet, and again probably on the further right still not having a great time. So I myself summoned two more squads, this time a swords and a spear squad, just to sort of bolster on this objective, hoping to take this objective and push up with this squad here. He now knows obviously that I'm taking the charge up. Straight away I'm using Willing Prey, just to got the melee defense on the charge. And then from there I'm hoping to get some following summons. He retaliates quite quickly and brings out two squads of Jade Warriors with halberds just to get that anti-large on the front line. I then drop a massive ability on the crossbowman, and then follow this up again with the summon, opening the gates, letting the demonettes pour through. Getting one on the archers, and then in a minute there should be a second one. Just as that cultist runs forward, and there should be one. There we go, and there's the second straight into the Fire Rain Rockets. I'm letting GigaN'kari have a little bit of a one-on-one. Mao Ying obviously popping Wrath of the Storm. I'm hoping Actress Essence will drop her defense a bit in her speed. If I'm honest, I thought GigaN'kari would win this a little bit harder, and I did get hit by a little bit of friendly fire there, I think. Knocks me into Rampage, sadly. The Seekers are taking a little bit of a battering, but I've done my purpose in, I hope, to buckle their front line, push them back, and therefore giving me the three objectives. My next reinforcements, I brought in some Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh. These absolute monsters, very quick at reaching the lines, and I just wanted to hold the objective just for the slightest bit. I'm pretty sure now I'll start bringing in some just on time. It's a second squad of Seekers just to further push the advantage I've got here. My thinking was, yes, I'm taking casualties, but they're on summonable demonettes anyway. GigaN'kari's took a bit more damage than I would like, but all in all, I've took them out of their position, pushed them all the way back. I'm doing a little bit of mopping up back here, but other than that, it's a good push forwards. A whip there for absolutely minuscule damage. It's pretty much nothing. So we use that for a sign of pure dominance, should we say. Now, I do make a mistake in a second in pushing GigaN'kari much more than what I should. And that's the second Seeker's going to clean up. And I think this really shows my rookiness in playing Slaanesh. And in general, quite a bit of rookiness when it comes to multiplayer. I've only recently just started playing multiplayer, like I said at the start, but I'm hoping that within a couple of months and some help from you guys, I'll be able to get steadily better. So we can see that GigaN'kari has took quite a beating, and Miao Ying is coming back in. They're also lining up with some archers, some celestial dragon crossbowmen, and two squads of celestial. One squad of celestial dragon guards. Sorry, no, it is two. GigaN'kari, I thought with the two cultists, we'll try and get him to use Torment Blade just to drop the stats a little bit, and I'll buff GigaN'kari using Hysterical Frenzy. I was hoping this would be enough, and I was hoping to be able to get Miao Ying before the Dragon Guard turned up, but again, this wasn't meant to be, and GigaN'kari ends up actually losing it. At this point though, I've decided to bring in some Fiends. This again shows my rookiness absolutely here. If I'd known better, I should have pulled these Seekers, plus with these Fiends, and moved across and helped my allies, or even pushed at the top a little bit here and got them in. Obviously the Seekers have the very nice passive ability, Musk I believe, which then obviously drops Sphoric Musk and it drops melee attack and melee defense. We've got another Talons. And I mean, it was close, but GigaN'kari does fall. I managed to get one shard off just before he falls, but I was hoping that narcissism to get Miao Ying Rush on the ground and the cultist could have finished her, but sadly, again it was a missed time on my behalf. I run the cultist back into the trees, hoping to hide them out, and then going from here, I summon a second squad of Exalted Demonettes and decide that actually it's time I push up a little bit. Again, you see this is 3 squads here that I am completely doing nothing with, which could be helping me push in other areas. So I'm quite open to show that I do make quite a few mistakes in this game. On the other side of the map, Tzeentch has completely pushed up the territory, took his own point, got some flamers heading up, and is still punishing Cathay with the 2 soul grinders. And a lovely squad of Doom Knights of Tzeentch being chased on by a Terracotta Sentinel. On the other side, the Tzeentch isn't doing as well. Ogres have held the point quite well. Gorges and Scrag being an absolute staple main piece, and then a Hunter on a Stonehorn at the back. We do seem to have a little bit of a duel between Kalaros and Scrag, but we shall see where it goes from there, and we'll get some Doom Knights coming in to flank on the Gorges. Back over here, Cathay is still struggling with the Screamers and the Soul Grinders, and those Flamers are just doing absolute work. I've finally noticed to actually get some use out of my cavalry, and I've decided, whereas my side is quite pushed up, I'm going to, hence the expression, take some low-hanging fruit. Absolutely charged through there. Luckily, managed to get out of that quite easily and it didn't hit many of my units. And right now in my head, I'm thinking, right, let's take back these ranged units, let's push off the artillery, let's really hit them in the softer, squishier parts and really try and use and abuse that Slaanesh speed. Up here, I was expecting a little bit of a counter push, I did expect them to regroup and then come back down, but they decided not to. So I feel like it was a massive waste for a good, 1, 2, 3 minutes with these Marauders. 3 squads just sat there on the objective doing nothing, plus 2 squads of Exalted Demonettes sat there doing nothing. The Cavalry, happy with their performance at the moment, absolutely ripping apart the Grand Cannons, running them into the Jade Warriors and Crossbows, and then hoping to get the Crane Gunners as well. I believe I do get a squad to get rid of those Lead Belchers before they do too much disgusting damage. As you can see, this is quite a noob-friendly game. None of us in this game were sort of amazingly experienced, and our micro block was not amazing. But I do believe that while it does show that we are all new players, I'm hoping this video will show people that we all have to start somewhere. So again, I'm just pushing around with the Seekers and the Fiends, hitting Lead Belchers, picking up ranged, just trying to be a general nuisance if I'm honest. My side is completely clear. I leave 1 squad of Marauders just on the point, just in case, anybody tries anything sneaky. Did notice some Noblars sneaking around, so I just thought I'd leave them just in case. And at this point, I decide that I'm hoarding the best part of probably 3,000 gold. Wow, even more than that. And just achieving nothing. So in a second, I will send them all forward just to really hit the nail in the coffin. At this point, it was still relatively close. Yes, they've been pushed in quite a bit, but the victory points, were not all that different. These 2 Soul Grinders for Tzeentch have been absolute raid bosses. They've just absolutely pummeled, took very little damage. At this point, I decided to take advantage of the Soul Grinders going up. I sent both of my cultists to try and hit the Celestial Dragon Crossbowman and the Jade Warrior Crossbowman. You'll have to excuse me hovering the names every now and then. It just helps because I can't remember all of their names. Like I said, still quite new. From this point, we continue to push up. This was what I was a little bit worried about. I didn't want any Saber Tusks sort of sneaking round and down to capture the point. So I think it's definitely worth leaving a squad of Marauders on there. The cultists automatically start getting to work, and the Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh, one of my favourite units, absolutely amazing. They just get absolutely in there and wreck face.
Sweep away this depravity.
Realistically, Cathay at this point are on their last stand. And even GigaN'kari's back. Sent him after those pesky Noblars to make sure there was no sneaking around. There's like quite a waste sending him to destroy Noblars, but gets him doing something. We've got a Saber Tusk here, but luckily I've got Marauders with spears. Again, lapse of micro, they're chasing a unit that's already shattered. I could have had them on the Saber Tusks. The cultists are doing a good job. I did use Sweet Sorrow just to try and get them to the units to attack a little bit faster. 1 cultist tying up 2 squads of ranged. We've got an Exalted, and then with the Soul Grinders and Flamers up here. That was the end of the game. Thank you guys very much for watching. And there will be plenty more videos. As you can see, GigaN'kari did fair enough. 3,000 gold. Cultists didn't perform as well as I expected, but that was probably down to my macro. My summons were not the best and I could have used them better. And then Seekers 1500 on both, definitely worthwhile. I definitely feel like my cavalry game was stronger this game than my infantry. I've got 2 squads of Exalted Demonettes that made this squad not too bad, 913, but still didn't pay for itself. This squad did absolutely nothing, and I should never have squads that just sat around playing absolute zero. Thank you very much for watching, guys.